All right, it's kind of pop quiz time here. Take you back for a moment to those runways and just keeping your head in the game. Want to see if you can answer these four questions that are up here. So pause the video at this point and see if you can figure these out. And then I'm going to come back here in a second, and I'm going to help you through the questions and answer them for you. But first of all, see if you've got this. Go ahead. All right. So first of all, what is the compass heading for this runway? Obviously, you add another 0 to the 28 and you get 280. So the compass heading is facing 280. So how do we figure out what's the compass heading at the opposite end? Well, we're going to subtract 18 from the 280, or if you were subtracting it from 280, it would be 180. But since we're going to subtract it from the 28, we're going to take 18 away from it, and so you get 100. So if the other opposite end is 100, then you take the 0 away, and that would be the number on the opposite end of the runway. But the heading itself would be 100. All right, so 3 and 4. Let's skip 3 for now, and let's go right to question 4. I'm going to help you through this just like I showed you to before, and hopefully you did this, and hopefully you got the right answer already. But if you don't know, and if you're unsure, let's go over it. Let's draw that compass rose. So we're going to start with the horizontal line. And again, you could have drawn this freehand. You don't have to have a straight edge. It can be whatever. It can be kind of curved. It doesn't matter. You're still going to come up with the right answer. So, but since I'm using a computer program, my line gets to be straight today. So I've got a horizontal line. I'm going to make a vertical line. And then I'm going to make all the little lines that I need around. Again, splitting each section into 3 parts. You can see these lines that I drew are not in perfect place. They're a little bit wonky. If you look over there to the upper left corner, they're not matching what I did on the right side and on the upper right corner. And the ones on the lower right corner are a little bit longer than some of the rest, and I've got one of them that's a little fatter. The whole point is it doesn't have to be perfect, right? So we're going to label these 3, 6, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, and 33. If you added zeros to all those, it would be your your actual compass heading. But in this case, it would be more like your runway numbers. So now I'm going to draw an arrow in here to show not only the runway, but the direction that you would have to be going to get to be on runway 28 in this case. And there's your yellow line. You see the arrow is pointing towards the 28. That would be the way we would be taking off. Now, if you were making left turns, right, I'm going to put a teal colored arrow up here. That's a left turn. Doesn't matter if it's matched up to the end of the arrow or whatever. That would have been your crosswind leg. So if that's the crosswind leg, if I make that same turn off the center of the yellow line right here, then right here is where the aircraft should be in a midfield left turns downwind. So if I continued those left turns off the end of that runway, I would be back over here where that X is, midfield. And so if you're asking about where should a plane be entering the pattern, they're supposed to enter midfield. And unless someone tells you otherwise, it should be left turns. But here I even said entering the pattern for left turns to this runway. So it should be right down here. And there you go, the black X. So if they gave you possible answers on the test as north, east, and west, what would you choose this to be? Take a second and think about that. On which side of the lines does this X reside? So it resides really on the west, and it also resides in the south. But if you notice, south is not an answer here. We didn't say south, and they're only going to give you 3 choices on the FAA test, and I guarantee you they're never going to ask you to kind of make a split decision. They would have not put south and west as options here. They're going to make it pretty clear cut as long as you're on the right side of the line. So is it north? Nope. Is it east? Nope. In this case, it could only be west because it's west of the blue line that separates north and south there, or it separates east and west. So there you have it. Now, the answer to question 3 should be pretty plain now, but let's look at it mathematically for a second. All right, so we've got a 90-degree turn, right? The crosswind leg is what we were talking about. So that would be down here where that teal arrow is at the end of the runway. That would be kind of your crosswind leg area. You make that first left turn, you're on crosswind. So what direction is that? If you subtract from your original heading 90 degrees, or depending on where you're at, you might need to add 90 if it's going to the right, or if you're going to left, obviously subtract. But you're going to need to subtract 90 degrees. So 28 minus 9. Well, some people go, well, I struggle with 9s. I can't add those up or subtract them real easy. Okay, fine. So go with the next closest number that makes sense to you. How about 28 minus 10, which equals 18? That's much more simple than trying to subtract 9s in your head. But now that we know that 28 minus 10 is 18, add one more back to it because we took too much. We took one extra away originally. Let's add one back to it. So 28 minus 9 equals 19. But from our drawing alone, you can see that the x is literally right there at 18. So if you were to figure out that you're going left and you're 90 degrees, if you went center field and drew an arrow down, you're going to be very close, if not dead on, to what your number should be anyway. And then it makes more sense when you do your math. You can double check it by looking at your 90-degree line off the center of the runway. So I hope this has been helpful, and gear up. We're getting ready to get into airspace. So kick back and let's go. Happy studying.